Hello, everybody. I'm doing a Friday update early, right? Because finally, right, feeling great. So that's nice. Have energy. Dived into the outlines. I'm not done grading them, right? But one of the things that I am seeing right off the bat in the first batch that I've looked at is, I think many of you have defaulted into, oh, okay, it's a research paper. I'm going to pick one thing. I'm going to tell you everything about it. Not quite. So what I want you to do, and I have this right here, is that's the paper, right? This is the assignment, and you want to have that thing right out in front of you while you're doing this paper, because what it says is critically explore an area you're interested in using multiple lenses. A lot of people are just giving us one look at that topic. Now think about the book. The book has given you, right, liberal, conservative, libertarian, and those value systems. We started off the semester with feminist critique, right? Different literary theories. All of that is open. So when you are writing this week and working on your topic, remember, this is right off of that handout, right? You're not trying to convince us you're right or wrong or vape or don't vape, right? You want to show us how complex it is, right? And multiple ways of looking at it and how those things are shaped by our perception, right? In reality. So, for example, somebody is bringing up zoos, and this is nice. And they said, hey, in the beginning, here's some good things about zoos. Here's the negative things about zoos. So that is on track. But I want you to go deeper. And so the feedback I gave that person is, what does it teach our kids, right? That we take them to the zoo. And again, it's not about convincing us, take your kids to the zoo, don't take your kids to the zoo. But if there's all this mistreatment going on, I think you could make the argument that you could be teaching a couple things. One is that we can do whatever we want to animals, right, for our entertainment, right? Two, we could be teaching them that you can actually recreate the wild in 100 square feet when this animal might have 100-mile range, so there's a lot going on there. And for all of these topics, I want to make sure that you're showing us from multiple views. Because if you're going to talk, say, for example, about dieting, which I know has come up in at least one paper so far, right? Yeah, give us that. Here's that one view of it. But then, this is America. We used to be number one, fattest, but then Mexico went and took so much of our food habits that now they are number one, at least last time I looked. So we're number two, we can do better, America. But if you're going to talk about dieting in America, I think it would make sense to include how crappy our food system is, right? How rushed we are, or there's a huge range of things going on, right? So make sure you're not doing that, high school, here's what I found, here it is. That's valuable, but that's not comp to, you've read that book and those stories to make sure that you can move around and look at things from different angles. And in this paper, that's what you're showing me, right? That I can take a topic and say, oh, it's not this simple, right? And then the other thing I'll add is, now these are outlines too, so I know nobody is stuck to that, right? But it's nice to see where you're going. Now, some of the outlines had a lot of information that most of us would know. So, whenever you're telling us stuff that we already know, shorten the heck out of it and get to the interesting thing, right? So, if you're reading this and you say, yep, all my readers are going to know, all this stuff, shorten the heck out of it, and then get to the things that we don't know, the angles we have not thought about, right? All right, so that is the Friday update a little bit earlier, and then once I get through all of them, probably Friday there will be another short video, but I wanted to make sure, since I noticed this right now, right, that everybody is using the handout, writing the paper that's required, not the one that you've done out of habit. Okay, keep up the good work. Let me know. And here's what's good about it, because they're not there on the paper yet. You did it. That's good, right? Because I can see it and say, hey, you're missing those multiple views. If you hadn't done the outline, and I wouldn't be able to give you that feedback, and you'd spend the rest of the week doing the same thing, not moving you in a successful direction. So yes, good work getting in your outline, even if your outline isn't following the main parts now, because now you know, I know, and you can work towards making sure you fit the paper requirement, right? Because unfortunately, effort, you know, effort has very little impact if the result isn't what you're looking for, right? So for when you go to work and you say, "Hey boss, I worked really hard," and they're like, "Yeah," and you emptied the storeroom instead of filled it, right? I mean, that effort has actually moved you in the wrong direction. So you want to make sure that you're working smart, right, focused, and moving in the right direction. A little bit of a ramble, but keep working, keep asking questions, and I'm really looking forward where you go with this, because I can see in those outlines people have some really interesting things that they're writing about. They have a good background knowledge. I can see that you already know a fair amount about the topic, which is excellent. Now push it to that next level.